Hi guys, Stanley over here, and I just quickly wanted to show you how I got to this part of Exit Stage Left, a game I'm currently working on with my girlfriend Lisa under this YouTube channel, Caffeinated DragonWare. So this devlog is going to be about me creating the demo of the assets, getting a look for the game, getting a nice feel for it. The final look isn't going to be finished just yet. It'll be a while before we start adding final props to it and stuff and final art assets, but it's always good to have an aesthetic in mind, even when you're creating placeholder assets for the rough demo of the game. Obviously, you want to know what your end goal is, so I got this up and running, and well, I hope you enjoy the process I took to get there. Hi guys, Stanley over here, and I'm gonna just get started because I wanted to create a
artwork, basically concept art for the game. Exit Stage Left, we're working on, gonna be our first game to make.
I'm gonna draw a few different sketches and ideas and stuff and a few different art styles just to see what Lisa likes the best. First I need to actually draw basically a setup for how the like a fake screenshot is. Why has it taken me so long to just call it a fake screenshot? That is so much easier to explain. With that being said, I am done. Time for the speed art. Oh wait, hang on, I'm still new to OBS. Wrong button. Well, I guess that works, but I was kind of hoping. Wait, what am I doing? Come on. There we go. Alright, so the first thing you're going to notice is me drawing in a rough sketch at a very basic level. Now this size of this is like, I think it's like a third or a sixth or something of the actual size of a 1920 by 1080 grid, but the reason I have it so small is so that I can properly scale everything upwards. You start small and work big. I find that when I work with a small thumbnail at first, it makes it super easy to stage things and frame them and make them, you know, easy to work with. So that's what I'm doing right here. You see me there drawing in the main character, the crowd, the stage. Soon I'll be adding stage hands and stuff. All this is just to get a rough idea of placement and basic proportion and design. Like there's the attention meter we talked about in the brainstorming session, which if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, see, we were just, I'm just sketching things in, very basic and rough. No need to worry about details at this level. Trust me, at this stage, you are not concerned about how detailed and complex it is. You want to get the basic idea, and there's the twin sister. We thought of that idea to have a twin sister option in there in case you wanted to play as either one of them. I thought it'd be fun if they were like two takes on the same character, basically. So that's why I'm having a secondary character in there. And you know, the tomatoes being thrown, the exit stage left sign that I came up with eventually, that's what I did first. And then as you see here, after I add in the spotlight by filling in some black and erasing it, making it transparent, I merge it all together, trim it, and scale it up to the next size, and then wash, rinse, repeat. I create another sketch. Now this one's gonna be a little more detailed than the other one. This one's gonna have more little bells and whistles to it, a little more detail, and each time I scale it up, I'm going to increase the amount of detail I add into the drawing. The reason I work this way is because I find I have a lot more control over it, and as you can see here, still not majorly concerned about how things are looking, still going for that rugged sort of rough look because that's my primary focus right now. I am not worried about final line art at all, and at this stage, I would highly recommend you not care about it at all. This is where you're supposed to be sloppy as an artist. It helps you tremendously. It helps free up your grip, getting you real nice and loose, you know, and basically makes things easier to work with.
Alright, so I think I should explain what I'm doing right here. I've scaled it up a few times by now, just, you know, getting two different things going.
Okay, I popped back on and talked during this next part, but it got a little lost in translation and I had some audio issues, so I figured I'll just go ahead and explain it here in a voiceover. Basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking online for different video games
stuff, and like I'm getting screenshots from these side-scrolling, platformer games. I'm scaling it up or down to match the play area that Exit Stage Left's main characters can be in that blue box that I've created. And then cutting out the individual characters there to get a rough idea of about how big I want my character to be in this game.
I just thought it'd be really funny to have this dude.
Alright, you should know the drill by now. The audio on this part wasn't good, so I'm narrating it. Basically, I'm just sitting here to explain that I'm putting final touches on the character before sending it off to Lisa. I had the idea to have the character be in a different pose, a random pose every time you stop moving, and I thought that'd be really cool and funny to illustrate the character's, self-centered, egotistical nature, and, talking about the other design elements like the exaggerated hip and like the nose jutting straight up above the head, little details like that really make a huge difference. And on this part, I'm talking about the hitbox on the character and how it's a good professional piece of advice in video games to make your character's hitbox slightly smaller than the actual sprite. That way it's a little more forgiving for your player, and that way when they do get hit, they know, okay, yes, I definitely got hit. I don't feel like I was cheated. And if you're curious, this is the final look I have for the rough sketch, the basic foundational idea I had. But up next, I'm going to import it into Toon Boom Harmony and create a final version of the concept art. Let's jump right into that. All right, well, here we are. And for those of you who don't know, Toon Boom Harmony is an animation program that I use for whenever I'm animating. It's what I'll be using a lot to make the actual final assets of the game, the sprite animations and stuff. That's what I'm using here. And by the way, Toon Boom Harmony, the reason I use it, you can see with the cutter tool that comes up where two lines intersect and how you can just cut away from them like that and just slice some tips off from the others. I find it to be super handy. I would almost recommend the program for that alone if it weren't so expensive. But it's worth it, totally worth it. If you're going into professional animation or design or cartooning and stuff, Toon Boom Harmony, highly recommended. So yeah, I love it, love it, love it, love it. As much as I love this character design, I wound up not going for it quite because it was too complicated. And when I showed it to Lisa, she pointed that out. She was like, hey, this is a bit too complicated for the main thing. Oh yeah, here you can see I tried making it look like he bleached his hair at first with the roots being the natural color, and that look didn't work out. There's me going back in and simplifying the design down to something much more basic that would work a lot better and just exaggerating things. And this is when I believe I realized that it would look cooler. I gave up on the legs at the first. I'm like, okay, I'll deal with the legs later. Then I realized right here it'd be so much cooler if his legs were tiny and his limbs were super long. I sort of got the aesthetic down with that. Once I did that, everything else clicked into place. And then after a certain point I realized, I'm getting too detailed with all these lines and stuff too. The lines were still too small and microscopic to pick up on. All right, and up next, I'm just recreating his twin sister. Like, once again, like I said, so we're wanting to have an option for you to play as either one of the twins. It gives a little bit of variety without having to put too much burden on us. And of course, she has a mole on the opposite side of her face later on in the final production phase. I thought that would look cooler. That was the hardest part of her character design, is the colors. Because I kept switching around and trying to incorporate the green more and the purple more and trying to find the right balance. Eventually I did settle on the right tone, but man, it took a while. And then up next, I just started drawing in the stage and stuff, and I know this was just concept art to get the aesthetic down, but I felt like at this juncture, this is where I wanted to really polish it and make it look super good. So that's why I'm paying extra attention to the perspective and, you know, getting the wood on the top and the bottom of the stage right and making sure everything lined up properly. And then here I'm drawing in the crowd, and I wanted them to not be pitch black. Same with the shadows that you see cast on the sides of the stage and everything. Eventually when I add the rest of the shadows, I wanted it to have a purple hue. When you have a purple hue in your drawing, set its blend mode to multiply, it looks so much better than if you just had pitch black transparency for your shadows. It adds a certain depth and gives a lot more richness to the drawing. And here I am adding the attention meter as I envisioned it, like sort of tinkering with the colors, sticking with that purple tone that I have, and you know, making a scribbly sort of face for the bottom. I realized it looked super cool like that with just the basic shimmers on it, so I stuck with that eventually. The idea is to have everything dangle off ropes. The main menu, the title, the bush, the everything. I thought if it all dangled off ropes, it would look super, super cool. And then here you can see me trying to make the cardboard look for the bushes, and then having to go through and manually delete the outside edge, bring it back in, scribble some more. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about with the shadows, where when I'm boxing it in, and you can see it's a purple tinge to everything. And you'll see it really show up once I render the image, as you can see here, and adding a slight glow to the characters. Apologies for the program constantly crashing. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it really crashes when I'm rendering things, especially something that's super effect intensive, you know? I really want to showcase how I plan on the aesthetics looking here, and I thought it would be cool to have stagehands and producers and stuff poking out from behind the scenes before they start swinging things in to show, hey, something's coming. Now I'm basically tracing over the rough artwork for the exit stage left sign with a bit more clarity and detail to it, and making minor changes as I feel the need, like the T there being a bit more thick. And here, I'm really proud of this. So the light bulb, I'm just copying and pasting all around, and then halfway through here, I had the idea to not have them lit up, and instead to have them light up one at a time. So then that would require me distributing each of them to its own layer, and then just having it switch between lit up and not lit up, and then having a glow effect applied to them individually. And that I did with the node layer that you'll see here I'm adding in. And all that to bring us right here to the finished product. So yeah, the light up, the characters, this gives a sort of view of how we're wanting the game to feel, and I sent it off to Lisa for approval, and she approved 100%. Really liked how it turned out, really proud of it, and now we have a good working piece of concept art to use as a goal for our future aesthetics and stuff. A real cartoony sort of slapstick looking setup. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me now though. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed what you saw here, please subscribe, because we're gonna get deeper and deeper into the nitty gritty of game development the further along we go. So again, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.